Honorable Marlin Schmidt, Minister of Advanced Education, MLA Dr. Bob Turner, Chancellor Douglas Stollery, Board of Governors Representative Matthew Barnett, President David Turpin, University of Alberta family, colleagues, partners, students, staff, researchers, and friends. Welcome to the annual Celebrate event, where the University of Alberta community gathers to recognize outstanding teaching, learning, and research. I'm Steve Dew, Provost and Vice President Academic, and it is my honor and privilege to serve as one of your hosts this evening, sharing these duties with Interim Vice President Research, Walter Dixon. I would like to thank our vocalist, Miss Elise Noyes, for her contribution today. Little secret, I'm a numbers guy. So coming from an engineering background, I like stats. I like to appreciate how data can help us understand the world and solve problems. So when it comes to this year's Celebrate ceremony, there's one number that stands out to me and reminds me of why we're here today: 139. Today, we are recognizing a total of 139 individuals who've done something exceptional this year, and who have embodied the U of A's promise to uplift the whole people. They are the reason that we're here today, and they're also the reason that the U of A's community comes together every day. Before we meet this year's award recipients, I'd like to invite President David Turpin to the podium.
Thank you, Steve. On behalf of the entire University of Alberta community, I want to start by congratulating our award recipients on your tremendous accomplishments. Congratulations to each and every one of you. Today's awards highlight innovation and leadership. They recognize people whose work helps to build and to sustain our communities. But first and foremost, they celebrate excellence in teaching, learning, and research. So as I was preparing for today, I was thinking about a very simple question. What does excellence mean? It's a question we take for granted. Excellence is its own goal. It's self-evident. But there is another part to the answer that makes the question worth asking. So why does excellence matter? The University of Alberta is a community of some 50,000 people. We are made up of students, staff, faculty, researchers, fellows, administrators, and many more. Moreover, we are highly interconnected. Consider, how many students learn from only one professor over the course of their degree? How many administrative units work independently, separate from the rest of the university? Likewise, how many researchers conduct their work in isolation? The answer to each of these questions is none. One researcher's work flows out of and into the work of others. Increasingly, we tackle challenges in teams and conduct research across disciplines and faculties. Our staff rely on each other every day. University administration results from many individuals and units working together. And students learn from multiple professors over the course of their career. They interact with many staff members and with hundreds of fellow students. We are a community of 50,000, and we depend on each other constantly. Why does excellence matter? Excellence is more than its own self-evident goal. In an interdependent community like ours, a broad base of excellence elevates everyone. When we excel as researchers, teachers, students, and staff, we empower a culture at the U of a culture that values curiosity, critical thinking, diversity, hard work, and ambition. The 139 people we are celebrating today have helped to build and sustain this culture. This observation does not undermine individual excellence. On the contrary, it uplifts individual achievement. Inevitably, our individual excellence helps the people around us, the people we teach, learn from, and work with to be better. And they do the same for each and every one of us. As a public university, we are embedded in the fabric of our city and province. Our graduates join the workforce and start new businesses. Our researchers work with communities to tackle local challenges. We drive innovation, prosperity, and positive social change. When we excel, we help to advance knowledge and incite change for the public good. That's why excellence matters. I want to take a moment to thank the friends and family, peers, colleagues, and mentors who have supported all of our award recipients who have joined us here today. It is clear to me that the culture of excellence we strive to create here at the University of Alberta is also valued by each and every one of you. Today, we are recognizing individuals, but seldom does anyone achieve this type of success without a strong network of encouraging people. So I'd like to thank you for all that you have done. So once again, on behalf of the University of Alberta, congratulations to all of the award winners we're celebrating today. We are honored to have you here at the University of Alberta. Thank you very much. It is now my pleasure to invite the Honorable Marlon Schmidt, Minister of Advanced Education, to bring greetings on behalf of the Government of Alberta.
Thank you very much for that kind introduction, Dr. Turpin, and good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, I have to apologize for not being dressed the same as everybody else. I'm normally one who supports conformity, so this is a little bit out of character for me, but my schedule is so tight as minister that if I were to die, I would probably be late for my own funeral. So that's why I wasn't on time for the dressing. But it's my pleasure to join all of you to celebrate an exceptional group of professors, learners, and researchers here at the University of Alberta. Congratulations to each recipient being honored today for your achievements and for demonstrating excellence and leading by example and for demonstrating the courage and commitment needed to succeed. The University of Alberta has an incredible reputation for producing leaders. Leaders here among us this afternoon who are sharing their knowledge to develop and nurture our leaders of tomorrow, leaders who are using their ingenuity and their ideas to make groundbreaking discoveries, and leaders who are making a positive impact on our communities. As we move towards a more diversified and modern economy in Alberta, we will be looking to you to help shape our future by being innovative and by taking risks. Alberta has always been one of the best places in Canada to start a new business, build on innovation, and get a new idea off the ground. This is due in large part to the high caliber of programs, instruction, and collaborative research opportunities available here at the University of Alberta and across our post-secondary education system. That's why our government is maintaining our stable and predictable investment in higher education. The University of Alberta is a key part of Alberta's post-secondary and research and innovation systems, and its faculty and staff, students and researchers are an important part of Alberta's future. I want to commend the University of Alberta for its continued excellence in teaching, learning, and research, and for contributing to Alberta's social and economic prosperity. Once again, congratulations to each recipient for your achievements and for inspiring all Albertans. So thank you to everyone and enjoy your afternoon.
Thank you, Minister Schmidt. We are so pleased that you're able to join us here today. Now, to the celebration. I encourage you to read about each of the awards in your program as we honor the recipients. I also wish to congratulate those recipients who are unable to attend today. You can find their names and awards in the program. Each of our recipients will receive a commemorative power bank with the Celebrate and the University of Alberta logos inscribed on it, collector edition. We hope that the recipients find this gift will serve them well as they continue their academic pursuits. We're very pleased to have so many of our faculty deans on stage. Deans are the critical academic leaders in the university as they work to meet the needs of government, industry, and society and support the president and his team. Thank you all for joining us today. I would also like to welcome delegates in the audience from the Global Academic Leadership Development Program of the China Scholarship Council. We're very pleased that you are able to join us for this celebration. We begin our ceremony with a profile of one of our outstanding scholars, Dr. Kim Tallbear, who is doing remarkable work as a Canada Research Chair in Indigenous Studies, Technology and Society, which connects scholars and Indigenous communities globally. She has had an incredible journey thus far in her career, and I invite you to hear more in the following video.
Kim has a very powerful gravitational force. And so she's got this ability to pull people into her. You wouldn't expect someone who's as smart as she is to be as humble as she is. And I think it's her humility that puts her in positions to be able to work with a very wide and diverse group of people.
I grew up in rural South Dakota on a Dakota reservation. My mother was a very politically oppositional person. Even though most people in my family never went to university, my mom expected that her 4 children would, and because that's the only way out of poverty. Because my mom was a planner, she moved to Minneapolis to take a job as a grant writer for Little Earth, which is the first low-income American Indian housing project in the United States. And then she also helped start a drug and alcohol rehab program on our reservation. She's done it all, right? Because she's a great fundraiser, and she thinks in terms of how do you build Indigenous-controlled institutions. So that's the model I grew up with. So I thought, well, I'll be a planner. I went to university. I have 2 degrees, one in community planning, a master's in environmental planning, and I worked as an environmental planner for Environmental Protection Agency, Department of Energy as a contractor, an Indigenous environmental research organization for about 10, 12 years. The Department of Energy started funding human genome research. And so we ended up picking up a contract to do tribal engagement in the mapping of the human genome. And I was fascinated, and I thought, but I don't have the background to do this. I decided the only way I was going to sort of reorient my career and my education to understand the genome policy issues was to go back and do a PhD and write the book I eventually wrote, which was Native American DNA. So I applied to graduate schools only with writing that book in mind. I had no desire to be an academic. I didn't want to be a grad student. I just thought I'm going to get through as quickly as I can, write that book, come back out and work for these tribal research organizations. But I discovered I'm actually a better academic than I am a planner. So I'm here. So I'm still here. If we diversify science, I do think we'll change it. Chris Anderson and Brendan Hokofit, our former dean, came to me and said they had actually applied for a CRC and would I now consider coming to Alberta.
And Canada Research Chairs are expected to become leaders in the field that they do research in. So Kim does stuff on kind of science and technology studies. She does stuff on, as I was saying earlier, breaking down that kind of human nature divide.
Indigenous people are so utterly erased across the US. When I go into a meeting here at U of A and there are non-Indigenous people around the table talking about truth and reconciliation, I'm like, what? I don't have to be the token Indigenous voice at the table bringing this up? I love the Faculty of Native Studies. I have never felt more at home anywhere. You know, I feel like people really get me. And I think partly it's because I come from a prairie culture, so it's very Cree and Métis up here, and I'm Dakota, but it's not that different necessarily, so that's really important to me. I was just figuring out, you know, that I was miserable in Berkeley because I can't live on the ocean, by the ocean on the coast. I'm a prairie person, and I felt deeply out of place being in a mountainous, hilly landscape. It just didn't feel comfortable to me, and I thought, but it took me a while to figure out, oh, it's the land. It's not me that has a problem. It's the land. It's like being with the wrong partner. For me, if you're with the wrong landscape, it's the wrong person, right?
I mean, she keeps joking about when the honeymoon is going to end, but it's been 2 years now and the honeymoon still hasn't ended. I just think she's not used to being in a space where indigeneity gets centered in the way that we center it. We're one of the top, probably 2 or 3 Indigenous studies units in the world, and that's part of the reason why she came here, and she's a big reason why we are where we are.
I would like to now ask that the Honorable Marlon Schmidt please come to center stage and help with the next 2 presentations. Our first award this afternoon, is the Alberta Agriculture Hall of Fame. This year, Dr. John Kennelly from the Department of Agricultural, Food, and Nutritional Science and former Dean of Agriculture, Life, and Environmental Sciences was inducted into this Hall of Fame. John, please come forward. The Alberta Order of Excellence is the highest honor the province of Alberta can bestow on a citizen. The University of Alberta is fortunate to have two of our professors honored this year. Minister Schmidt, if we could please pose on you for one more award. Thank you so much. So our recipient is Steve Rudy of the Faculty of Medicine and Dentistry. Congratulations. Thank you, Minister Schmidt. I now ask that Mr. Martin Kratz, Chair of the Aztec Foundation, come forward to present the next award. The Alberta Science and Technology, or Aztec Awards, recognize exceptional achievements in science and technology in this province. This year's recipients are Brendan Bruner, Faculty of Engineering. Colin Cupido, Faculty of Science. Stefan Damker, Faculty of Engineering. Charles Noakes, Faculty of Science. Christopher Robson, Faculty of Engineering. Thank you, Mr. Kratz. I now ask that Dr. Declan Ali, Acting Associate Vice President Research, come forward to present the Fulbright Awards, which are international awards that allow scholars to pursue research in other countries. This year's recipient is Dr. Roxanne Hard from Augustana. Dr. Hard, please come forward. Thank you, Dr. Ali. It is now my pleasure to introduce Mr. Babak Sultania, President of the Graduate Students Association, who will introduce the next section of awards.
Thank you, Dr. Du. This afternoon, we honor the achievements of a group of remarkable graduate students. Their areas of study range from cell biology to physical education and recreation, from English and film studies to engineering. Your Graduate Student Association congratulates you and wishes you great success in the coming years. The Vanier Canada Graduate Scholarships are awarded to students who demonstrate leadership skills and a high standard of scholarly achievements in the social sciences and humanities, natural sciences and engineering, and health-related fields. I would like to ask Dr. Heather Zwicker, the Vice Provost and the Dean of Faculty of Graduate Studies, to come forward to congratulate the recipients of this award. This year's recipients are Jens Booth, Faculty of Science. Thorstein Dahlin, Faculty of Physical Education and Recreation. Michael Laffin, Faculty of Medicine and Dentistry. Thank you. Lisa Martin, Faculty of Arts. Elham Rafi Burujani, Faculty of Engineering. Elizabeth Richardson, Faculty of Medicine and Dentistry. Albert Remus Rosana, Faculty of Science. Sasha Vanderklein, Faculty of Agricultural Life and Environmental Sciences. Yelena Zabolotny, Faculty of Engineering.
Thank you, Mr. Sultania and Dr. Zwicker. The Graduate Student Award of Merit recognizes graduate students who have demonstrated outstanding leadership while maintaining exemplary academic records. This year's recipient, Sarah Ficco, is unfortunately unable to be here today, but I'm pleased we can still learn all about her and her research through the following video.
Sarah is an educator and a social activist and a deeply committed scholar, and she's an emerging leader. Modest, thoughtful, caring, compassionate. She feels things very deeply, but when it comes to making decisions, she's a balance of mind and heart.
I grew up just outside of Ottawa, Ontario, and I've always been interested in plants. We had a farm and a market garden, and I was like working with the plants. My research now is revegetation work.
These are lichen plots that I am doing a lichen reclamation experiment on.
I'm working at a diamond mine in the Northwest Territories, and my research is looking at how you get the plants growing again after disturbances, after that mining has been finished. It's not like down here where you have, Rona you can go to buy the seeds or another company and get trees from just to plant on the land. So what do you do in the north? That's what I'm really trying to solve. So I'm working with shrub cuttings and lichens. Those are the dominant species in the part of the tundra I'm working on.
She's building the future. She's building the future of this country. She's building the future of the north.
Hey, Julie. Hey, Sarah, how are you? Good, how are you? Good.
I was originally never interested in politics, but I had a friend who was with the GSA, and he was always talking about different things, and it sounded interesting. And he's like, hey, you should run too. And I kind of looked at him like, you're crazy. Like, why would I do that?
She really stepped up to lead the Graduate Students Association. It's not like she aspired to that position, for years and years, but rather she responded to what she saw as a need on the part of her colleagues. She is an unusually thoughtful person, and she's deeply committed to understanding what her colleagues need.
It was probably one of the busiest years for the GSA. Just there was a lot of consultation with the provincial government. The NDP government came out and did consultation on labour, tuitions, funding, health and wellness, like mental health supports, that kind of thing. So there was an awful lot of work that way.
The Senior Women Academic Administrators of Canada makes awards available every year for emerging women leaders. It's a nationwide award. She's a world builder. She's deeply committed to a brighter future. She is deeply committed to the public good, but she feels a kind of servant leadership calling to make the world better for other people, and it really sets her apart from others.
Research is one area, but if you want to do things, you have to have leadership skills, working with people, working with teams. With the research, the student administration experience, my community involvement, leadership, there's lots of different ways I can go in the future from here.
Our next award is the Canadian Academy of Health Sciences Fellow. I ask that Dr. Bob Turner, MLA for Edmonton Whitemud, please come to center stage to present this award. This year's recipients are Faith Davis, School of Public Health. Sumit Majumdar, Faculty of Medicine and Dentistry. Ross Sayuki, Faculty of Medicine and Dentistry. Thank you, Dr. Turner. The next award is the William Hardy Alexander Award for Excellence in Undergraduate Teaching, which is named after the first professor appointed to the University of Alberta, who began teaching in 1908. Dr. Alexander set the high standard for teaching that we live up to today. I would like to call on Mr. William Alexander, grandson of William Hardy Alexander, to congratulate these recipients. Martin Davies, Faculty of Medicine and Dentistry. Sean Graves, Faculty of Science. Thank you, Mr. Alexander. It is now my pleasure to ask Chancellor Douglas Stollery to introduce the next awards.
Thank you, Dr. Dew. I'm really delighted to have this opportunity to introduce our Staff Recognition Awards. University of Alberta staff members make invaluable contributions to a vibrant and supportive learning environment in many ways. As a former sessional lecturer in the faculties of law, business, and extension, I know firsthand how much our professors and students value the efforts of support staff who take pride in advancing our core mission of research, teaching, and service. Whether as advisors, lab or co-op coordinators, librarians, or technical or administrative support staff, these dedicated professionals play an integral role in building a creative and innovative learning community. And now we have an opportunity to recognize these outstanding contributions. Our first award in this category is the Support Staff Research Enhancement Award for members of our support staff who have consistently made a positive contribution to the research success of their unit and the university. I would like to invite Ms. Elizabeth Johansson, President of the Non-Academic Staff Association, and Interim Vice President Research, Dr. Walter Dixon, to congratulate this year's recipient, Greg Popowich, from the Department of Physics. Thank you, Ms. Johansson and Dr. Dixon. Our university community is committed to building and sustaining an environment where faculty, staff, and students have an opportunity to excel and grow into leadership roles as public intellectuals, both on and off campus. To recognize the critical importance of the quality of the work and learning environment in creating a positive and rewarding academic experience, the Excellence in Leadership Award was established. I would now like to invite Mr. Wayne Patterson, Interim Vice Provost, Human Resources, to center stage to congratulate the recipients. Mario Nascimento. Thank you, Mr. Patterson. The Excellence in Learning Support Award was established specifically to recognize members of the university community whose role does not involve teaching, but who directly and significantly contribute to student learning. I ask that Dr. Kathleen DeLong, Interim Vice Provost and Chief Librarian, to congratulate this year's recipient, David Schultz from Libraries.
Thank you, Chancellor Stollery and Dr. DeLong. Each year, only 11 Rhodes Scholarships are given out across all of Canada. We're pleased this year to have one of our own amongst this august group. Our recipient this year comes from the Faculty of Science, and I invite you to learn more about her through the next video.
Yasmin's someone to watch. I think Yasmin is going to be a transformative person in the future. There is this sort of deep-seated passion about bringing about change for societal good.
I loved reading when I was a child, so I'd go into the libraries, come out with like stacks of books higher than my head, and come back every week to do the same thing.
She was spending too much time in reading. In fact, I thought that I'm gonna kind of ban you. This is the limit that how much you can spend on reading.
When you grow up reading stories like that, when you grow up infused with a sense of the wonder and magic of characters that can kind of do anything, you get the sense that you can do the same thing. I'm in my 4th year of my biological sciences degree. I'm really passionate about balancing the arts and the sciences. Coming into the U of A, I had a lot of trouble deciding. I'm doing 60% sciences, 40% arts. So I'll be spending 2 years at Oxford. I'm doing a degree in philosophy, politics, and economics. And it's essentially rigorous writing training. It's a degree that journalists have done, politicians have done, churning out 2,000 to 3,000 word papers every week, and then meeting with world-leading experts in those fields to discuss your paper. You orally dictate it to them, and then they fight you on points, and you're expected to fight back. So it gets down to the real pedagogy of learning, which is incredibly exciting and also a little frightening. And then after that, I'm headed towards, I think, Stanford Medical School.
The plan that Yasmin has come up with, which is to look at the philosophical side, to build the philosophical skills, to build the skills in communication and writing, will really feed into that concept of her becoming a leading thinker about the way we drive forward healthcare, as well as an outstanding practitioner. That, I think, is what makes a Rhodes Scholar.
Through my 4 years, I've been a big fan of The New Yorker. I think they're the writer's writer magazine. And if I could, that would be the next goal, is to be at the caliber of a New Yorker writer and to publish. Science, especially nowadays, is facing a lot of criticism, and people who can humanize science, people who can humanize medicine, there's a space for that. I had a really early opportunity to volunteer here at the Stollard Children's Hospital. It's shaped some of the ways that I think about medicine. I want to work in pediatrics. A lot of my experience at the U of A has shown me that that's a place that I can make a lot of impact. Eventually, I'd like to end up back here. Edmonton definitely holds a special place in my heart. I can't wait till I'm in the place where I can start contributing again to the community that we have here.
I think she's going to transform Canada in terms of our thinking around healthcare. I think she's going to be someone that Alberta and the University of Alberta is going to be very proud of.
I ask that Dr. Andre Kostopoulos, Vice Provost and Dean of Students, please come forward to help present this award. Yasmin is already on her way to Oxford for her studies this year. We are pleased, however, to have her mother and her father here today, and that her father, Dawood Rafai, will accept Yasmin's award. Dr. Rafai, please come forward. Thank you, Dr. Kostopoulos. It is now my pleasure to invite Mr. Reed Larson, Vice President External of the Students' Union, to introduce the next set of awards.
Good afternoon. It is my pleasure to recognize undergraduate students who have been selected as award recipients within the University Scholastic Distinction Program. These students have demonstrated great potential to becoming leading ambassadors at the university, and I wish them every success in their post-secondary studies and congratulate them on behalf of the Students' Union. The first award is the BMO Financial Group Citations. Dr. Konstopoulos, will you please return to center stage to present this award? This year's recipients are Robin Learn from the Faculty of Science, Melissa Wiebe from the Faculty of Science, Thank you, Dr. Konstopoulos. The next group of Scholastic Distinction Awards are the Chancellor's Citations, which are offered over 4 years and are open to all students in all faculties. Chancellor Stollery, please come forward to present these awards. Bryn Morakowski, Faculty of Education. Ryan Shukla, Faculty of Engineering. Rahul Singla, Faculty of Science. Thank you, Chancellor Stollery. The next scholarship in the, oh my gosh, that's a long word. The next scholarship in the Scholastic Distinction Program are the International Citations, awarded to students at the university on a study permit. Ms. Lisa Collins, Vice Provost and University Registrar, will present this award. Mariana Fejo Ugalda from the Faculty of Agriculture, Life, and Environmental Sciences is this year's recipient. Thank you. The next scholarships recognize the top academic students from a Canadian high school outside of Alberta. Ms. Collins will also present these awards. This year's recipients of the National Achievements Awards are Jessica Bennett from the Faculty of Science, Brianna Bland from the Faculty of Education, Alessia Chung from the Faculty of Agriculture, Life, and Environmental Sciences, Cora Davis from the Faculty of Education, Sean Den Hollander from the Faculty of Education, Sydney Enns from the Faculty of St. John, Alyssa Gashil from the Faculty of Physical Education and Recreation, Sarah Hicks from Augustana Faculty, Anthony Laprie from the Augustana Faculty, Sailor Martian from the Faculty of Agriculture, Life, and Environmental Sciences, Jonathan Shaw from the Faculty of Engineering, Megan Terr from the Faculty of Arts, Lauren Town from the Faculty of Physical Education and Recreation, Nina Varghese, Faculty of Arts, Joy Wang from the Augustana Faculty, Thank you, Ms. Collins. Our next scholarship in the Scholastic Distinction Program is the President's Citation. I ask that President Turpin please come to center stage to present this award. This year's recipients are Erica Chow from the Faculty of Science, Abraham Amala, Faculty of Engineering, Nicholas Kozak from the Faculty of Science. Cindy Leung from the Faculty of Education. Song from the Faculty of Engineering. Oh, Yingxing Song from the Faculty of Engineering. Toshi Yugoshi from the Faculty of Science. Angela Wang, correct, from the Faculty of Engineering. Angela has also received the TD Scholarship. Our next scholarship in the Scholastic Distinction Program is the President's Centenary Citation. This is the highest award in the Scholastic Distinction Program. President Turpin will also present this award. This year's recipient is Tia Biggs from the Faculty of Science. Tia, please come forward. Thank you, President Turpin. The Schulich Leadership Scholarship is for students enrolled in a science, technology, engineering, or mathematics or STEM program at the university. I ask that Ms. Heather McCaw, Vice President, Advancement, please come forward to present these awards. This year's recipients are Natasha Danha, Faculty of Science. And Sheen Sander, Faculty of Engineering.
Thank you, Ms. McCaw and Mr. Larson. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Walter Dixon. I'm the Interim VP Research. It's my pleasure to be here today as co-host with Provost Dew. Our next award is the Provost's Award for Early Achievement of Excellence in Undergraduate Teaching. I ask that Dr. Dew please come forward to present the next two awards. This year's recipients are Brandon Alakas from Augustana Faculty, and Douglas Gleddy, Faculty of Education. The Governor General of Canada Meritorious Service Decorations include the Governor General's Meritorious Service Cross for exceptional deeds that bring honor to the country. 5 recipients were chosen from the University of Alberta for this decoration this year, and 2 of them are here today. Dr. Dew will also present this award. First recipient is Philip Curry, Faculty of Science. Very much. And Thomas Graidanis, Faculty of Medicine and Dentistry. I ask that thank you, Dr. Dew. I ask that Dr. Declan Alley please return to center stage for the next presentation, the J. Gordon Kaplan Award for Excellence in Research. Dr. Kaplan was the first Vice President Research at the University of Alberta. Following his death in 1988, the University Research Prize was renamed the J. Gordon Kaplan Award for Excellence in Research, and it is the university's most prestigious research award. Dr. Alley will also present this award. Thank you so much. Stanley Booton, Faculty of Science. Thank you, Dr. Alley. The Hockey Hall of Fame was officially opened on August 26, 1961, and recognizes those players, builders, and officials who've made outstanding contributions to the development of the game of hockey. One of this year's inductees has a long-standing history with the University of Alberta and is a real University of Alberta treasure. However, unfortunately, he's unable to be with us here today, but we honor his induction into the Hockey Hall of Fame through the following video.
44 seconds remaining, and the concerned Claire Drake at the bench with a two-man power play opportunity.
When it comes to intercollegiate hockey, no one can touch Claire Drake. He is without doubt the most successful coach in Canadian university history, with 6 national and 17 Canada West titles and a total of 697 wins. In 1967, he even accomplished the seemingly impossible, taking both Bears hockey and football teams to national victories in the same year, a feat no other Canadian coach can claim. Born in Saskatchewan, Claire played junior hockey in Regina and Medicine Hat before studying at UBC. He arrived at the U of A in 1951 to enroll in physical education, and by the end of the decade had signed on to head the Bears hockey program, which he developed in trailblazing fashion for more than 40 years. He also briefly coached the WHA Oilers and the Winnipeg Jets, and took the Canadian Olympic team to Lake Placid in 1980. But Claire is perhaps best known for his profound influence on those he mentored, the players, coaches, anyone who cares about the game. His drive for success both on and off the ice finds expression in his favorite mantra: "It's amazing what can be accomplished when no one cares who gets the credit."
Respecting others was a really important thing. You know, it was respect in the workplace, in the team environment.
Good to have you in the ring.
This November, the 89-year-old Dean of Intercollegiate Hockey will finally receive the recognition many feel is long overdue: induction into the Hockey Hall of Fame. Congratulations, Claire. Here's to one of the U of A's greatest legends.
25 years, coach of the University of Alberta Golden Bears.
The McCalla Professorships are named after the first Dean of the Faculty of Graduate Studies and Research and allow recipients to integrate their research and teaching. Dr. Sarah Forgy, Vice Provost of Learning Initiatives, please come to center stage to present these awards. Our first recipient is Marlene Aranda Saldana from the Faculty of Agriculture, Life and Environmental Sciences. Thank you. Now we have Samira El Atia from Faculté Saint-Jean. Anastasia Elias, Faculty of Engineering. Faye Fletcher, Faculty of Extension. Well done, Michael. Michael O'Driscoll, Faculty of Arts. The next award is offered by the Canadian Historical Association and recognizes a significant non-fiction work of Canadian history. Dr. Forgy will also present this award. The recipient this year of the Sir John A. Macdonald Prize is Dr. Sarah Carter for her work in the Department of History and Classics and the Faculty of Native Studies for her book, Imperial Plots, Women, Land, and the Spadework of British Colonialism of the Canadian Prairies. Dr. Carter, please come forward. Thank you, Dr. Forgy. It is my pleasure now to introduce two incredibly talented members of our university faculty who've been chosen to receive the designation of Distinguished University Professor this year. Dr. Turpin, I ask that you please return to center stage to present this award. This year's recipients are Warren Finley, Faculty of Engineering. Larry Heeman, Faculty of Science. Thank you, Dr. Turpin. The Prix Galien Canada Research Award is presented to the researcher who's made the most significant contribution to pharmaceutical research in Canada. I invite you to meet this year's recipient through the following video.
This biopsy fits those criteria.
Dr. Halloran is the most influential transplant physician in the world, I would say. He has been behind every major development in immunosuppressive drugs over the last 30 years. He really brought us from the dark ages to more current technology.
First of all, I got interested in end-stage organ disease, liver and lung and heart and kidney, and I saw many people dying, many people my age who were dying. And it really affects you when you're a young person in medical school. After my PhD in London, I returned to Toronto and went through the ranks at the University of Toronto as a professor. But in around 1986, I realized that there were some serious things going on here, largely because of Premier Lougheed, and in creating the AHFMR, the Alberta Heritage Foundation for Medical Research, he had this vision that we would be evaluated by the world. We would be playing on the world stage and getting advice from the world scientists.
He was the first to discover one specific type of rejection. This type of rejection, which is called antibody-mediated rejection, is extremely aggressive. It's very powerful. It can destroy the transplant within minutes in the operating room.
We were able to help develop the drugs which now control rejection for a lot of people, and that was a major change in their outcomes. We were able to bring rejection rates way down with the drugs.
Dr. Halloran was able to reduce rejection rates from 55% down to 5%.
And that has been very gratifying to see the early rejection problem came under control with the immunosuppressive drugs that we now use in everybody, and then finding exactly what the right protocol was, we were able to address that in a very large study called the Symphony study. We've come up with a protocol now which is pretty much a worldwide protocol.
The Prix Galien Award is really a step down from the Nobel. For medicine, it is huge. It's an incredible achievement.
I could not have done this in any other university. The university has been exemplary in supporting me and giving me opportunities. We are one of the world's leading transplant centers. And of course, transplantation is one of the leading areas in this whole university when the world looks at us. People in Edmonton should recognize that the University of Alberta is a very special place, and it has certain centers of excellence, and the world watches what we do here. And we have opportunities to make differences which will affect the world. I know we focus on our problems, but when I go and visit many universities, I come back here and say, I'm really glad to be here as opposed to there.
I ask that Ms. Jackie Tam, Vice President, University Relations, please come forward to help present this award. Dr. Halloran, please come forward. Are any of my engineering colleagues from the Canadian Academy of Engineering present? We seem to have lost you. Nope. Okay, then we'll move forward to the next category, which is the Rutherford Award for Excellence in Undergraduate Teaching. Thank you, Ms. Tam. I would like to welcome Kate Freeman to present our Rutherford Awards for Excellence in Undergraduate Teaching. Mrs. Freeman is the great-granddaughter of our first Premier, Alexander Rutherford, for whom these awards are named. And she has been an avid supporter of the University of Alberta throughout her time with the University Senate, Friends of the Rutherford Society, and Friends of the University of Alberta. There are 5 generations of U of A graduates in her family. We owe a great debt to Premier Rutherford, who made it a priority in the province's first sitting of its legislature to ensure passage of the Universities Act, which laid the foundation for the establishment of the University of Alberta. This year's winners are Odile Cisneros from the Faculty of Arts. Catherine Kellogg, Faculty of Arts. Thank you, Mrs. Freeman. I would now like to call Mr. Richard Canio, President of the Postdoctoral Fellows Association, to introduce the next award.
Thank you, Dr. Duo. Postdoctoral fellows are valued members of the university community who make an indispensable contribution to its research environment. The Postdoctoral Fellow Association supports the activities of postdoctoral fellows and works to ensure that they have a rewarding experience at the University of Alberta. The award being recognized is the prestigious National Benting Postdoctoral Fellow. I ask that Board Representative Matthew Barnier please come to the center stage to present this award. This year's recipient is Rafiko Ruiz from the Department of Sociology. Please come forward, Mr. Ruiz.
Thank you, Mr. Barnett and Dr. Canio. Our next award is the Royal Society of Canada College of New Scholars, Artists, and Scientists. I ask that my co-host, Walter Dixon, please come to center stage to present the next two awards. This year's recipients: Nicholas Holt, Faculty of Physical Education and Recreation. Thank you, Dr. Dixon. Oh, sorry, you're not off the hook yet. I'm out of place. Our next award, the Royal Society of Canada Fellow, represents one of the highest levels of recognition of artistic and intellectual accomplishment in Canada. Thank you, Dr. Dixon, for standing by for this one. Marcia Spetch, Faculty of Science. Congratulations. David Wishart, Faculty of Science. Now you're off the hook. Thank you, Dr. Dixon. Collaboration is an important part of teaching and research at the university. The Teaching Unit Award recognizes teaching excellence that is a direct result of collaboration. The Comprehensive Care Delivery Teaching Group in the School of Dentistry is being recognized this year. Let's learn more about this unique team through the following video.
Comprehensive care delivery is basically a way for us to deliver quality patient care.
In the past, at the dental school, the student has been the focus of what's going on in the clinic. The CCD philosophy is actually turned around. What we want the students to experience is the way that we want to treat patients in private practice. The best possible care of the patient is the focus, and the student's needs are met through meeting the needs of the patient.
We've developed a pod structure so that we have one very experienced general practitioner manage a group of now both third and fourth year students.
We are mentors to our students. They can come to us anytime they have issues with patients or there's something they don't understand that they need some help with. We're open and we're there to help them.
There you go.
When you're sort of out there delivering care and you see them come over, you see them help, you see them explain things, you see them interact with patients, that in itself is a great learning experience.
We get a lot of feedback from our POD or CCD leaders throughout the course and kind of helps us develop ourselves personally and professionally.
I think that safe learning environment just allows the students to feel comfortable asking questions, and it helps to show them how to be good communicators and be kind and compassionate to their patients.
I think now we're treating the students more as colleagues from the ground up, and before we were treated more as just students until we were graduated. And there's a difference there that I think the interactions are more on a level playing field, so to speak. The award is significant in that it recognizes the hard work that we as a team have done. In the past 5 years, we've worked very hard to improve the program and the student experience.
To have your own colleagues recognize what you're doing and appreciate the commitment of that team, I think is pretty special.
What a wonderful team. I ask Dr. Sarah Forgy to return to center stage for the presentation. This year's recipients of the Teaching Unit Award are Trudy O'Coyne, Faculty of Medicine and Dentistry. Daryl Demchuk, Faculty of Medicine and Dentistry. Thank you. Jack Margolis, Faculty of Medicine and Dentistry. Ivano Ongaro, Faculty of Medicine and Dentistry. Thank you. David Sujikawa, Faculty of Medicine and Dentistry. Thank you. Byron Wong, Faculty of Medicine and Dentistry. Thank you, Dr. Forgy. The Martha Cook Piper Research Prize was established to commemorate the significant contribution Dr. Piper made to the research community while she was Vice President Research at the University of Alberta in the 1990s. I ask that Dr. Declan Ali please return to center stage to present this award. Congratulations. Sadok El Ghoul, Faculté Saint-Jean. Thank you, Dr. Ali. The Order of Canada was created in 1967 to recognize outstanding achievement, dedication to community, and service to the nation. I ask that Jackie Tam please return to center stage to present this award. Our recipients this year are Elizabeth Ingram, Department of Art and Design, and Anita Moltsan, Faculty of Nursing. Unfortunately, Dr. Moltsan could not be here today. Professor Ingram, please come forward. Thank you, Vice President Tam. At this time, I'd like to acknowledge award recipients from past years who are seated in the audience today. I ask, if you don't mind, that all past recipients of top teaching and research awards, the Gordon Kaplan Award of Excellence in Research, the University Cup, and 3M National Teaching Fellowship, please stand up and be recognized. Thank you very much for coming to our celebration.
We have now come to the culmination of our celebration, the University Cup. This award recognizes a senior professor who combines outstanding teaching and research, the two activities that are at the heart of the academic endeavor at the University of Alberta. The recipient of the cup is a leader in his or her field and someone who has earned outstanding regard in the community. The University Cup is the highest honor the university can confer upon a faculty member. To date, 22 outstanding professors, including today's recipients, have received this award, recognizing their exceptional work at the University of Alberta. We're tremendously pleased this year to recognize 2 outstanding professors as the 2017 recipients of the University Cup. I invite you to meet these stellar individuals through the following video presentation.
So you get a 4-to-1 alpha to beta.
Excellent, that was great.
Yeah. I work on things because I find the structures interesting. And are they unusual, and have they been more or less ignored by other people before? Glycomics is what we define as the study of the role of carbohydrates in biology. The sorts of carbohydrates I'm interested in are ones that are found on the surfaces of our cells. They tell other cells what kind of cells they are, they interact with viruses, they interact with bacteria. We can use that information to develop better diagnostics, develop possibly therapeutics, things of those sorts.
And he's been fantastically successful in research. He's done research on tuberculosis and identified an important enzyme that might be used as a drug candidate, and also on solid organ transplant. He pretty much hits the ball out of the park.
The U of A has, I think many people know, has had a long tradition in this area for well more than 50 years now. We're currently working with the Foundation for Innovative Diagnostics on trying to identify new antibodies that could be used in diagnostics for detecting TB in, for example, urine. It's not a problem that's ever gone away, and certainly in the developing world, it remains a serious problem.
Please welcome Todd Lowry.
We started to think about how we could sort of transform the success we had at the provincial level to a national level. Our vision is to try to develop technologies that can actually help improve the life of Canadians and, of course, other people around the world. The network itself is about 110, 115 now investigators across the country. We've got representatives at about close to 30 now different institutions across the country. I would say the most rewarding thing is when I sit down with my graduate students and postdocs and undergrads and talk science. When I get frustrated with things, it tends to be when I haven't had that opportunity to do that in a while. Usually I find if I can spend a few hours just sort of interacting with the kids about what they're doing, then I usually can be put into a pretty decent mood.
No matter how busy he gets, every day, at the end of the day, he walks around the lab, says goodbye to everyone, checks up on them, sees how their science is going. Whenever you had a problem, you could always go to him, and he's patient, and he kind of enjoys those challenges.
He's remarkable when he teaches undergraduates. Within the first couple weeks, he knows all of his students' names in a 100-person class. He's just a very relatable person for all of his gruff exterior.
I think Janine is the dictionary definition of a mensch. She is kind, smart, incredibly generous. You couldn't ask for a better colleague or a mentor or a friend. And she absolutely contributed to building the most diverse political science department in Canada, and I dare say the world. That is one of her stunning legacies.
When I look back on my career, I kind of consider it always, in social science research in general, as being in conversation with an always shifting social environment, trying to expose the interests and the question of who wins and who loses and who's excluded when a particular policy statement or a particular kind of construction of politics is articulated. And most importantly, to ask people to keep asking themselves, what is government for? What is our responsibility to each other? When I entered the discipline, there were no women. The political science was white, largely male, and largely focused on institutions. So throughout my career, I think what I've tried to do is kind of push at political science theory or as a discipline to be more inclusive of not only different identities, but different subject positions in a broader social milieu.
The miracle of Janine Brodie is her ability to take seemingly disparate small events and be able to string them together in a grand narrative that makes sense of what's going on in the world.
But still, the working class has a structural relationship with power.
It's just why students love her, right? Yeah. Because she can really make sense of things that they're really puzzling over.
There's a synergy there with the students that kind of keeps you on the edge of your chair all the time, because they're bringing questions and problems and issues that are relevant in their own lives.
It's like winning the lottery or something, like to kind of fall into that sort of relationship with somebody who is that successful and is that genuine. Her analytical and theoretical mind, her scholarship, her ability to sit there casually and say things that blow your mind. It's almost like magic. I don't know how she does it, really.
Dr. Turpin, please return to center stage to present the cup. Dr. Janine Brody and Dr. Todd Lowry join an elite group of professors who have reached the pinnacle of achievement. We are very proud of your accomplishments and honored by your dedication to this university. Unfortunately, Dr. Lowry is at a conference in Europe and is unable to be here today. Dr. Brody, please come forward to accept the University Cup.
I'll be short. I know it's been a long afternoon. I just have to say how honored I am to be included among the distinguished scholars who have been awarded the University Cup. And I'd also like to extend my congratulations to Dr. Lowry as well. I'm also grateful to my department chair, Lois Harder, to my colleagues at the University of Alberta and beyond, and to my wonderful students who took the time and care to prepare my nomination. This recognition comes to me at the twilight of my academic career. For almost 4 decades now, I've been proud to say I'm a political scientist, both by vocation and imagination. The political terrain has shifted fundamentally in those years, but one thing has not changed, and that's the mission and promise of the social sciences. First, to reveal the ways in which power and structural inequalities operate in formal political institutions, but also in our everyday lives, in our workplace, in our families, in our communities. And second, hopefully, to generate evidence and arguments to reimagine the present and to open windows to different tomorrows. For me, social justice, broadly defined, has always been the underlying thread in my research program. So unlike many of the enduring questions in the STEM sciences, the objects of social science research, our social and political worlds, are constantly in flux. As researchers, we cannot stand aside these objects, but we're always already deeply embedded in these social and political worlds. And so as researchers, we are subjects, actors, and researchers. So my research program has taken me to many different places in Canada's shifting political terrain, from studies of Canada's political parties to regionalism, to gender and politics, to social policy, to citizenship, and beyond. But for the last 2 decades, I have focused my research on the neoliberal experiment in market-driven governance and its growing social liabilities, including unprecedented inequalities in income and wealth, the marginalization of the vulnerable, intergenerational inequalities, and the growing precarity of everyday life. I've always, as I said in the video, considered my research to be in conversation, an ongoing conversation about basic questions that I don't think we ask ourselves enough, and that is, who is government for? How should we govern ourselves? What sustains vibrant and fair communities? This conversation for me has been immeasurably enriched by generations of bright and innovative students who always keep you honest, by outstanding researchers in conversation from around the globe, and last but certainly not the least, by the University of Alberta, which has provided me with countless opportunities because of its abiding commitment to research and teaching excellence and the production of knowledge for the public good. So I'm deeply grateful for all of these things, and I thank you for this special recognition. Thank you.
Congratulations, Dr. Brody. I would now like to call on Matthew Barnett to present some remarks on behalf of the board.
Thank you, Dr. Du. It's my pleasure to be here today on behalf of the Board of Governors of the University of Alberta to celebrate the outstanding achievements of the talented recipients honored this afternoon. The University of Alberta's reputation for excellence is founded on and continues to be enhanced by the work, dedication, and sheer love of learning, research, and teaching each of you exemplifies. We are tremendously proud of you. We also greatly appreciate the ongoing contributions of many donors and organizations who have provided funding or recognition to our recipients. Thank you to all members of our platform party who presented awards, including the Honorable Marlon Schmidt, Minister of Advanced Education, Dr. Bob Turner, MLA for Edmonton Whitemud, Mr. Martin Kratz, Chair of Aztec Foundation, Mrs. Kate Friedman, and Mr. Will Alexander. It has been a pleasure to have you here today. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Barnett. Please join me in thanking and congratulating all the family and friends who help our students, staff, researchers, and teachers achieve their goals. We have so much to celebrate at the University of Alberta, and thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for making this a truly memorable afternoon. I invite everyone to join us outside for light refreshments in the lobby following the recessional. This concludes our celebration. Thank you again for your attendance, and please stand as the platform party exits the auditorium.